Alright, so this is a 97 F-350 XLT crew cab. Since I couldn't find any videos or anything online to help me figure out how to fix this, since I couldn't even I had to find a used regulator. So let me explain what the problem is first. I'll demo this to you. So I've already got the door panel off, obviously. I've rehooked up the switch here. And the problem is when I bring this all the way up, it doesn't go all the way to the top, and at some point it just makes that noise and it gets stuck there. And you can see it's got a lot of play in it. I can push it up the rest of the way. Alright, and it'll come back down. Let me show you what the problem is here. Show you what's going on. The problem lies, if you look inside here, you can see, if we get in here, see that these teeth are what turn on the motor. Motor's up in here, up on this area here. But if you look in here, the teeth on this thing have been sheared off. And that's why when it goes all the way up, it gets this area right here, and it just doesn't want to go up any higher because the teeth are sheared off. So what we got to do is rip out this regulator. And so what I'm going to do is I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm going to try this. But I'm going to drill out these rivets here, because these 4 rivets, if we look here, and get the replacement regulator that I found on car-part.com, not parts, but part-com. You can look up a bunch of, that place is awesome. You can find all kinds of good stuff. But if we look here, these 4 rivets are in the door here. I've heard a lot of people say you got to drill them out. Somebody's obviously drilled out this before at one point. I'm guessing to replace the motor at one point, which is probably how it ended up getting jacked up in the first place. They just replaced the motor and they didn't align it properly or something. Sheared off those things. Well, buddy, hold on. I'm taking a video. Say hi. Hi. He's my little helper. Not really. But anyway, you see this is how this thing is mounted up in the door like this. And give you a bigger picture. So we got to rip it out. We got to drill out these rivets. And then I'll come back. Okay, and you want to say hi too? Hi, Daddy. The world. Daddy. Say hi. Say hi, world. Hi, okay. World. All right, so we'll be back. So yeah, all I'm gonna do here, just drill this baby out. So I'm not gonna actually do it because I can't hold the phone and drill at the same time. So okay. All right, so we've gotten these rivets right here, all drilled out. I chewed that one up a bit, but all right. And when I got that last one out, I did hear this thing drop an inch or so. So now I'm gonna work with 2 hands, and hopefully I can figure out how to get this thing out of here. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that, but we shall see. So I got my little camera girl here. She's gonna give me a hand by holding the camera while I work on it. Hi. And so it's her first time, so please make sure you don't be too critical of the camera skills. All right, remember, Savvy, don't touch the screen, just hold the edges, okay? Hold the edges, all right? But you gotta make sure you look at the screen, you take good pictures. Back up a little bit. Right there, okay, there we go. Now.
Ow.
Yep, so pull it through there.
Feet up on it.
Now it's out. Now it's out. But then what? That's the question. Then what? So I think we gotta need to, let's see here. So somehow we gotta get that through there. We gotta make room for it. I think we should make room for it by lifting the window up. So let's lift this window out of the way. Up here. Out of the way. Alright. And then we should be able to just reach in here. Grab this thing. Make some room for it to come out. See how are you getting the camera over here? Come on, make sure you can see I'm reaching in here. Grab this thing, but oh, okay. So now we're cut up on the. I was worried I needed to keep it connected But since we know what we need to do now, let's let this go down again so it doesn't just fall too. So we don't want to break it. Alright, so now that was the last thing holding it in place. You see how I dropped that? Don't picture me. Picture what I'm doing, okay? Now, if I reach down in here, I should be able to get that. Hey, be nice to your brother. Cut it out. You're ruining the video. Let's see if we can't get this out of here, huh? You think we can get this out, Savvy? Think there's enough room? I don't know. We might be in a bind. At the end of the day, there should be enough room to get this thing out, but I don't know. Just don't know. I don't seem to want to do what I want it to do, huh? We have to somehow get it out of this thing. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Let's pause it for a minute so I can look at this and figure it out.
How do you pause it?
You hit that little big... Okay, so I just noticed, so one of the problems, I don't know if y'all can see this. Get in there. Alright, so there we go. See how that's the guide for the window. And getting the motor, you gotta rotate this thing to get it past that guide. And if you notice, there's a little bit wider area here. Right, let me point to it here. Right, this area right here. This is where it's wider in the door, so you have just enough room. You gotta rotate this whole thing. I don't know if you can see down in here. See, that's the motor for the regulator. And so you gotta rotate the whole thing, get the motor through first. And now it's through, and now I'm on this side of the guide, of the window guide that goes north to south. And hopefully I can figure out how to get it out this hole. It's gonna be fun. Alright, sorry for the crying. Alright, so this wasn't easy, but as you can see, I've got it almost out. So getting it past this was a pain. What I found out was that I needed to hook it back up with that, and I needed to basically put it in the as far up position, the up position, the arm would go to hold up the window, which is just held up by friction at this point. All right, and get the arm out first, and then kind of twist it a little bit to get the motor out. And I'll let my camera girl hold the camera. Make sure you get this piece right here. Not too close, back up. You ain't gotta be right up next to it, but right there. All right. Get this piece. All right. And we just get up in here, rotate her a little bit. Hopefully the window don't fall down. And she came right out. And I'm assuming that's how we're gonna end up putting the other one back in. And then once we get her in, we gotta rivet her in place and make sure that she's aligned onto the window. This is the piece. This piece, here, let me have the camera. Thank you, sweetie. This piece is gonna end up, hey, be quiet. This piece, I got kids, that's life. This piece is gonna slide into that. That's the slide. It goes back and forth it goes back and forth in here. That plastic piece goes back and forth in here as it pushes the window, as that arm pushes the window up. It's got to be able to slide back and forth. So we got to get that lined up, and then we can rivet it in place. Mommy just got home, so all the kids are excited. So, all right. So let me start seeing if I can get the other one. And the other one, I'm assuming, goes in the same way. So I'll let you know if there's any difference. All right, y'all. This was a pain. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. It was really horrible. So I'm about 6'8". I got some fairly large arms. I had my elbow all the way down inside here in order to prop this thing up. Alright, and inside here there's you can feel it. I don't even think you can see it, but you can feel it. So actually, here, where's the original? So this is the one that I took out. Now this is in here, right? Alright, that's this. Alright, sits inside the door, down in there. And for some god-awful reason, maybe it's to help make it easier, I don't know. But for some god-awful reason, there is a bracket. Let's see if I can hold this in place. There is a bracket inside here that goes along the inside that this thing sits down like a finger inside of. And if you can't get up above that and put that down inside, this thing will not move to the right far enough to where, look here, where you can finally get this thing, get those holes lined up. Now what I'm going to try to do is get one or two in. The way that I got it lined up is I rehooked this wire back up. The gray to the gray goes through this hole. All right. I've got my switch right here, and I can push. I can rotate this up and down. And depending on where your window is sitting at, you got to have this thing at the perfect setting in order for these to line up. And it'll basically, as you push the button, the whole thing will twist a little bit here and there, and then you can line up those holes. So, next step, try and get one in there. Okay, so I got this all lined up. Word to the wise. These things, they don't fit any rivet guns that you can buy at Home Depot, Lowe's. I got AutoZone. I got one from AutoZone. They even said it's supposed to take a 1/4 inch. Doesn't work. This doesn't fit in the gun. So at this point, and it's probably wrong, but at this point, just to get things rolling and working until I can find a rivet gun the right size. This also came, this Dorman kit, you can find on Amazon, Dorman door kit. Comes with all this hardware. Also comes with bolts and lock nuts. You can see the lock nuts right there. Right. So I've got 2 of these in. And I'm going to tighten these down like crazy. I got one, because you can't barely get your fingers in there. I got one with Loctite on it. I'm going to tighten those down like crazy. And then, even though, so what came with the gun, you see this thing. So right there, hey, it's supposed to work for a 1/4 inch. Ta-da, but it didn't work. Came with much smaller rivets. There's some 3/16 rivets in here. I'm going to try and use one of those. Hopefully that'll grab onto enough metal, hold it in place. So, just FYI. If you can't find the right rivet gun, you're in for a hard time. But anyway, the way you got this working is that the way I got this lined up is a mixture of fiddling with the window and moving it up and down, so that the arm is moving up and down, and that rotates this, but also keeping the electronics hooked up and moving the arm so that it barely twists that thing as it's moving, and getting the holes finally lined up so that you can get the bolts in. And of course, getting your arm in there is not fun in this little hole to get back there and hold the nuts in place. So anyway, once I have it in place, I'll take a picture of it working, and then that's it. Well, yeah, that didn't work, because all it did, they're not long enough, these smaller rivets. So I try to grab on, and then it breaks off early, and they just fall out of the door. So they're not actually holding anything in place. So I guess back to the drawing board with trying to get those bolts on. If I get it in place with bolts, I don't know. I'm guessing with all the rattling this truck does, it'll just work its way back and it'll get loose eventually. I guess I can just get it back on and tighten them back up. I don't know. Alright, well, try and see if I can get the bolts on. Alright, so these two were fairly easy, because you reach your fingers in here and hold a bolt barely with the tips of your fingers. You got long fingers like I do. You can hold those in place and get these guys in place. Put some Loctite on them, tighten them up. These two, you gotta stick your elbow all the way in here. This one, we had to use some, hold up. We got those pliers. Hold your bolt you come up from underneath, hold the bolt in place, and you hold the bolt in place while you have a friend point the whole. Am I answering you? Hold on. You hold the bolt in place, and then you can screw the bolt in place and get it in place, right? So that's about as. And they're not. These two ones pretty tight. They're not. What I'm gonna do is once I can find a rivet gun that works with these giant rivets, then I'll go ahead and take these out and just re-rivet it one at a time now that everything's in place. But as you can see, now have a working window finally that goes all the way up, and that's that. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Obviously you got to still put this back on, but that's easy. A few screws and putting things in place. So all right, good luck, y'all. Like I said, this is one of the most annoying things I've ever done. Ford, I don't know who this engineer was.